Hi, welcome to this video on part 2 of how to make a game of rock, paper, scissors in Microbit. So to recap, if you remember in the first video, we created a variable called player choice, which when we press the A button allowed us to move between 1, 2 and then set it back to 0 again once it got beyond 2, which then represented our rock, our paper and our scissors. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to do something very similar where we set button B to represent the computer's choice and then to compare the two in order to come up with a winner. So to get started, there's a couple of things I need to do first. First of all, I need to make a variable for the computer. I currently have one here called player choice. I'm going to make a second variable here and I'm going to call this computer choice. Okay. And once I've done that, I can then start to use this. So I'm going to click on input and I'm going to select when B button pressed. I'll just move across so we can see it a bit more clearly. So when B button pressed, I'm going to say set computer choice, or computer choice as I've put there, my mistake. And it's currently to 0, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on math. And on there, I've got an option that says pick random 0 to 10. So I'm going to grab that and I'm just going to drop it where the 0 is. So it now says set computer choice to pick random 0 to 10. I'm going to change that 10 to a 2 because if you remember from the button A, I've got 1 is paper, 2 is scissors and 0 is rock. So we don't need to have anything else other than that. So what I'll do from there is simply I'm going to copy and paste this if statement here from button A, from the player choice. So if I right click on that, I can click on duplicate and I can move this across to like this, and then all I need to simply do is where it says player choice, click on there and select the computer choice variable for each one of those. So that will now allow me to, if I was to play this, let's say I choose scissors and then I press button B and it's selected the rock. That was the computer choice there. So now what I need to do is I need to be able to compare the two. So to do this, I'm going to use the logic section where I'm going to use an if statement. And I'm going to use the comparison where it says 0 equals 0. And I'm going to use this section here that says Boolean. I'm going to use and or. And that's going to be important when we start to construct our command. So just to the side here to start off with, I'm going to start to construct my code. So I'm going to start off with an if else statement like that, and I'm going to say, if we go to logic and I get 0 equals 0, I'm just going to pop that in there like so. I'm going to say if player choice is equal to computer choice, then go to basic and show string, and it's going to say the word draw. So that means that if they both pick the same numbers, then it's going to be a draw because they must have picked the same symbols. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a statement for the win. Now this is the most complicated part of this, so you need to just sort of very carefully pay attention. I'm going to start off with a 0 equals 0 here. I'm going to say if player choice equals 1, for example, so that would be paper. And then if I just duplicate that and I say computer choice equals 0, which would be rock. I then need to bring these two together. So I'm going to choose and. So if I go to and then I just drop this in here like this on this side, and then I drop the computer choice one on this side of the and, it now says player choice equals 1 and computer choice equals 0. So what I can then do, if I right click where it says and I duplicate that, I can then just change these numbers. So I'm going to say if that now equals 2, which is the scissors, and the computer choice equals 1, which is paper, that is also going to be a win. And I've got one more, which is that the rock beats scissors. So if I duplicate that and I say that player choice equals 0, which is the rock, and computer choice equals 2, that is going to be the scissors, and therefore that is going to be my final win. So now that I've created these three statements here, which are going to compare the player choice and the computer choice, I need to bring them all together. So just to make things a little easier, I'm just going to grab the if statement and I'm going to drop it underneath the previous if statements on the B button like this, so I can just see this little shadow here. Just zoom in, you can see just that. There we are, that shadow there, and in there I'm going to drop an OR. Okay, and then I'm going to drop another OR inside that one. So I'll end up with 3 shadows. 1 OR shadow, OR shadow. And what I'll do from here then is I'll simply drop these statements into the shadow. So the first one, I'll just drop in there like that. The second one, I'll drop in there like that. And then the third one, I'll just drop in the first one like so. So now it says player choice equals 1 and computer choice equals 0, or, zoom in so we can see that a bit better, player choice equals 0 and computer choice equals 2, or player choice equals 2 and computer choice equals 1. Then we're going to show the string that says win. And anything else other than that, so we already have the draws in place, we have now the wins in place, so if it isn't a draw or a win, then it must be a lose. So I shall just show string here under the else and type in there lose. So what should happen now, if I just load this up, is I choose from my selection, I'll choose paper, I click on B, and that also is paper, and it says draw. Okay, let's try this again, see if we can get a win or a lose. So scissors, paper, and I get a win.